All right, welcome to the final chapter. This is Zero Power Jimmy Pablo doing another psychology of women and gender. This is chapter 15, and this one is called Women and Mental Health Issues. The final chapter for this thing. And what this is going to relate to is basically women who are basically having the mental health issues and haven't sought any mental like advisory to individuals of therapy. So that's what this is going to be involving in for those who really need it. I will be leaving any links in the description as well as any YouTube videos on Angler Super 11 playlist. So that's where you'll find to watch that and the whole sections of these lecture as we will go ahead and review every single one of these slides, because that's what we're going to be doing this entire video is reviewing. Now, if you're one of those individuals who do not like hearing my voice talk, you can go ahead and mute me as you just pause the video for every slide that you're about to read. That's fine by me. Because again, all I'm doing is going reviewing as a whole thing, and that's about much. So that way, it can be easier for the individuals to read it and to follow along as we go through this. All right, so let's get ahead and get started. So this slide right here, we have mental health, which is everything you need to know about this mental health area of the negative, positive, depending on what it is explaining in this slide. That's what this one's going to be covering. All right, let me see the next one. Then we got this one, and of course there's also a link. I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I have a feeling that I didn't put it in as soon as possible. So that's what this one is basically slides going to be talking about in this one. So that's what if you're mostly knowing the history of women's mental health, that's what this covers related to. Then you have more the women in mental health history. That's what this one is also going to be covering. If you want to pause it to read it, then welcome do so as we go on to the next slide and move forward from this. And then we have this one, which is basically women who desire sex where they're seen as mental ill. That's happened a lot. Well, in some cases, I have no idea. This is basically off of whatever data shows here. This is what covers everything you need to know in this slide from 2002. That's what shows right here, and that's what you're going to be seeing in this. If you want to pause it to read it, don't do so. Let's go on to the next. Then we have this one. Of course, there's a link in the notes. I also am going to put this in the description. If there's anything usual, I'll probably put it on the playlist just so those who want to see it can understand what that's about. That's what this slide's going to be covering. All right, the next one. Then you have gender differences in mental health. Some are always going to be the same as others. That's what this thing is going to show in those 3 bullet points. Then you have the examples of depression. You could see from this girls or teens perspective. What do you see? What I feel? Each one right there. It shows you exactly. Next one. Then you have a graph or some sort of chart explaining how depression works in each of those areas, how it goes through the basically of all the stuff that's being reviewed in this thing. So you can tell from just looking at it, and that's what this slide is about. Then you have ABC model, which is bullet points, show you exactly what this thing is going to be covering, and most will look like, associated with depression, negativity, etc., etc. That's what this slide is. All right, next. Then we have depression, gender differences. There is also links and YouTube video, whereas I'll definitely put that on Angler Super playlist, and also links in the description so you can find that and find it easier just to navigate from this particular slide. Go ahead and pause it to read it more as we move forward from this. Then you have more depression. This slide's going to cover. You can also see glimpses from 18 to 25, mostly in common. And yes, men less likely to report depression than women. See from right there. That's what this slide is basically going to be covered, etc., etc. All right. Gender differences and the expressions. This is basically showing the sentiments between women and men. You can see the two differences and what the slide is covering from the basic point of their understanding of this expression of depressions from different genders. All right. Anxiety disorders is mostly common. There's a lot of this happening going on. Even I myself suffer from this. And this is because of the fact that, when something goes bad, something gets too lonely, it happens to me. That's why, I do streaming and stuff. That's why I do that. But for women, it could be entirely different. I'm not here to explain so much about this, but this slide is definitely something to take a look at as we move forward to the next one. And then we have why gender differences in, of course, more of anxiety are explained right here from this slide. You could see from this example, you have a pose of worried and all these questions going around that. That's what this little thing right here is mostly about. All right, let's see the next one. And you have a link to this one, mostly helpful. It's like helpful advice to know what this is related to, what exactly is about. That's what this is mostly going to be talking about, etc. And you can even see how society sometimes views mental illness, which is also uncommon. Then, of course, you have therapy. This is also be shown through YouTube. I'll be putting on English Super 11. It shows this particular side, everything of the 6 basic assumptions. If this is what's, right for you, that's what this slide is covering about it. Then you have empowerment, that you can do it, we can do it. All of the women that are uniting themselves to show that they're united to continue moving forward. They're not afraid, that they still can make it. That's what this slide is talking about. And then you have this one, therapy resources, where if you need them so much, I'll put them in the description. So you have everything you need to know, including there's phone numbers to see if there's something that, if you feel like website's not enough, you can able to take a look at this and see if there's something going on. Now there is one for California, but if you don't live in California, like you're in a global or some other place, there's other websites you can actually look into, just so that way there's something there that can be helpful and achievable. Now, I don't know about the LGBTQ thing. That's something else entirely. So don't give me this is a slide that I just had it pulled off from my online class, and that's what they gave me with this. So thank you guys so much for watching. This was about all you need to know within the philology of women and gender from the lower division. This is what I was learned and taught from this before I passed this class of mine. I basically bring this back just so I can review it and show it online to social media and YouTube, just so everyone has a chance to have a look into this. You can say whatever in the comments, and etc. On and on, because it is something to actually explore too, if you're interested, or the women's that are curious about themselves. That's why I did all of this. So thank you again so much. This was an amazing time to do this, and that's about much. So Jimmy Pablo signing off, and we'll see you on another video, I guess. Bye bye.